Good day, everyone. Okay, so again, we will continue our discussion under Unit 2, so the structures of globalization. Okay, so we are now done with Chapter 1. So let's continue or let's proceed, I should say, with Chapter 2, market integration. All right, so Chapter 2, market integration. So let us start first with discussing first and foremost what is global trade. Okay, but before that, let's proceed with our objectives. So we have three objectives for this lesson. First of all, we have to understand what do we mean by International Monetary System or the IMS. And consequently, we have to understand its implications, okay, or its purpose, essentially. Second, we will have to understand the history of the gold standard and the Bretton Woods system. So the golden standard and the Bretton Woods system are actually two of the most prominent IMS that we had. Okay? So of course, finally, you have to differentiate these two systems and focusing primarily on their purpose and what caused their downfall or dissolution. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so what do we mean by international monetary system? Okay, so but before we go there, I want to give you a review of what we have already discussed. Okay, again, reiterating our phrase back then, uh, the world economy starts when we will have what we call an economic integration. Okay, so essentially, this is what we call global trade. Okay? So yung tinatawag nating movement of goods, services, and capitals between previously dispersed or separated activities of each countries will become integrated into one functional system. Okay? In Ilocano, dati agsisina na gitoy nga economic activities, tata nagbalinda nga memesa. Okay? Nagbalinda nga functional system nga may mesa. And essentially, that is what we call market integration or in the simplest terms, global trade. Okay? Okay, again, but before we proceed with our discussion, I want to give you an analogy. Okay? So in Lobo, we have different cultures. We have dispersed activities. Okay? Merong mga, yun nga, iba-iba tayo ng lahi, iba-iba tayo ng kultura, iba-iba tayo ng relihiyon. Okay? So, uh, ang ginawa natin para magkaintindihan tayo, para magkaroon tayo ng transaction, para magkaroon tayo ng ugnayan with each other, kahit iba-iba tayo ng kultura, especially magkakaiba tayo ng lengguwahe, ang ginawa natin, gumamit tayo ng isang basis. Okay? Gumamit tayo ng standard. So, nung una, Latin. Later on, English. Okay? So, I'm just dropping few examples. Okay? Tapos nagkikinaawatan tayo, kadagiti taga-Europa, dagiti Koreano, dagiti Chinese, dagiti Latins. Tinusar tayo English, 'di ba? So ganin din dito para magkaroon tayo ng integrated economic activities, you must have a system, you must have a standard for us to communicate, for us to have a functional trade with each other. Okay? Kailangan nagkikinaawatan tayo, kailangan nga at nasurusuruton tayo nga sistema. Tapno awan mayaw awan. Tapno may sobraan tayo. Tapno agbalin isuna nga functional. Okay? Tapno essentially, tapno ada global trade nga makaungko na. Kasi no ada global trade, then there will be economic globalization. Okay, so dyan papasok ang international monetary system. So again, international monetary system refers to the rules, customs, instruments, facilities, and organizations affecting international payments. So, in short, ito'y sistema na sinusunod natin para magkaroon tayo ng transactions. Okay, especially payments between countries. Okay, so the main task of IMS essentially is to facilitate cross-border transaction, especially on trade and investment. So of course, more on money. However, I want to highlight that although international monetary system, okay, as the word itself, it's more on money. Okay, however, hindi lang yon. It also reflects economic power and interest. Okay, because again, as we have discussed in neoliberalism, money is inherently political. Okay, kung may pera ka, may kapangyarihan ka. Okay? It's an integral part of politics of diplomacy. Ginagawa yung part ng diplomacy, yung pera-pera na yan. Okay? Okay? Bigyan natin ng halimbawa sa pinakamadaling ah, pamamaraan. Okay? Nung sinunod na parta ng eleksyon, isunod mga bak. Di ba? Okay, ganyan din. Okay, so it's not simply global financial trade. It's not all about money, but it also involves politics. Okay, I want to emphasize that right now because that will be our foundational principle in the next unit. Ayan, magkakakonekta lahat ng lesson natin. Okay? Ayan, so let's proceed. Okay, so two of the most prominent international monetary systems that we had is the gold standard and the Bretton Woods system. Honestly, these are complex concepts, okay, but for the sake of a time constraint discussion and obviously this is not an economy class, we will only learn the basics of it. Okay, but before that, I want you to watch a video or videos rather, okay, that will give you a historical background of the international monetary system and specifically the paper money system. Kapay ada kwarta tayo, sa asano nga nagkapo din, nagkapuanan na din, at nagtaudan na. Okay, so ayan. So what you will be doing is ganito. Okay, you will post this lecture. Okay, you watch the videos I sent to our group chat. Okay, so after nyong mapanood yung mga videos na yun, bumalik kayo sa lecture natin sa PowerPoint na ito. Okay. Okay, so I assume naawatan tayo iti historical background na iti no apay at the gold nga us-usaran da iti nga kwarta. And later on, DJ paper money system tayo, which is naka-rooted ka DJ kung kuna tayo nga gold standard. Ayan. But to reiterate, okay, agsubli tayo man ti history, kasi ti kayat na sa wendeta. Okay? First of all, idi yun una na nga panawin, adati kun kuna tayo nga barter. Okay, for example, ti adu kanyak ket bagas. Okay, tatan haamnet lang nga bagas ti masapol ko tapno agbyag. Kaila pa iti, for example, bado. Okay, so DJ bagas ko, isukat ko iti tela. Okay, tatan, mano nga bagas ko, mano nga kilo ti bagas ko, ti kasukat ti mesa nga metro iti tela. Okay, nakadepende deta kadijay pagtulagan ni. Okay? Kaya nga barter, nakadepende DJ agreement ni as parties, as nagsinukat. Okay? Awan ti fix nga standard na. Ayan. So, later on, kapot adot problema na deta, mabalin ti linnamangan, ti inobrali ni DJ ancestors tayo, nagaramid da iti fix nga standard. Okay? Ti inosarda is digitay rare nga materials nga basically digitay narigat nga switiken, narigat nga i-manufacture or narigat nga sapulen. Okay, so gold and in some civilizations, shells ti inosarta. Okay, so basically ti value na DJ, basically ti ibagbagam no, for example, gumatang ti sa metro nga tela, ti ibagbagak, deta mesa nga metro nga tela, ti kapatid na deta, ket DJ bannog ko nga nang-acquire detoy mesa nga ounce ti gold. Okay? Or mesa nga bukol iti shell. Okay? So ti value na nakadepende ka DJ karigat na nga nang-acquire ka detoy nga material, detoy nga gold, detoy nga shell. Okay? Later on, nagbayag deta nga practice. So gold tinusal tayo. But again, later on, ma-realize tayo impractical. Okay? Nagbannog nga bagbag katem ti gold. Okay? Kasi nga prone iso na ti takawan, kaya nga uso hindi ko ti pinatayan, naamak hindi ko ti gravel, makipag-transact. Ayan. So, ang ginawa nila is inlamang na dagiti nga golds. Okay, inlamang da kadagiti volts later on. Ison to tawagin tayo nga bangko. Ayan. So, tingit na sa wandi dyan, agipadulin ka. So, ada ko man mga golds ko. So, gapot ada mga golds ko. Isyuwan nak DJ nang ipadulinak. DJ nga tawagin tayo nga bangko. Isyuwan nak ti 5 nga certificate. Okay? Ti mesa nga certificate ko, ibagbaga na di dyan. Nga da mesa nga, pisko ti gold. Okay? Again, kaputa 5 di gold ko nga inpadulin ko kanya na inikan nak ti 5 nga certificate. Nautatan, no gumatangak again, ti mesa nga metro ti tela. Okay? Ti bagba kanya na. For example, kinunana kanya, ti presyo ti mesa nga tela, ket katumbas iti duwa nga gold kunana. Duwa nga pieces of gold bars. Ayan. So instead nga literal nga DJ gold bars stated ko kanya na, which is very impractical. Kasi mabalin nga matakaw. Tipimay kanya na, instead ko kanya na jay duwa nga certificate. Okay, kasi jay duwa nga certificate ijay, ibagbaga na dijay, nga ada duwa nga gold ko nga impadulin ko, DJ ti pamaniknik ko. Okay nga nagpaypay so impadulin ko. Ti pumayan na, isunan to ti mangala. Okay, isunan to't mangalan ka DJ nang ipadulinak. DJ duwa nga gold ijay. Okay? So DJ nang gatangak DJ tela, kasi mo ti ubrain na. Okay? For example, gumatang matso na. Okay? So, disigatangan na. For example, bunong. Okay? So, di bunong, kung na di naglakwan na ti presyo na, talo nga gold bars. Hindi. Duwang gold bars na lang. Okay? So, ti pumayan na mo, kaputa, duwang gold bars ti presyo na DJ, mangtagmatso na ti duwang nga certificate. Mabalin nga di nagkapumot la kanyak na certificate. So, ibagbaga naman nun, ada duwang gold bars kadeto nga bangko nga impadulin da kanya. Nga indulin nakadulin ka dito nga bangko, I should say. Okay? Essentially tiket ko sa ditoy no asanot ka aduna di igam mo nga certificate wenno papel kadya ti ka aduna mismo ti bilang ti gold mo nga nakadulin. Okay? Dito ti kung kunata yung nga gold standard. Okay? But later on, impractical detoy manen gaputa immat adu ti tao. Okay? Abang umad adu ti tao, ammo tay nga ti gold kithaan nga umadu, okay? So, limited ti gold. Ayan. So, because of that, okay, umadayo tayo ito, ital na tayo dito, yung gold standard nga kung kuna tayo. Rugyanan dito ni President Nixon in the USA. Okay, so agbalinton nga Bretton Woods system. Okay, so in the Bretton Woods, okay, tinagbalin nga basis the currencies all over the world is the US dollar. Yung the US dollar is still the 35 US dollars, ti katumbas na neta, mesa nga ounce ti gold. Okay? So, later on, i-expound ti kahit nasa wanda gito eh. Okay? So, let's proceed. Okay, so the gold standard. But before we go to that, I want to again emphasize that the dawn of the 19th century, as many experts would say, it's not only the big bang of globalization. Hindi lang yan ang simula ng globalization, but most importantly, it was also the major force behind the beginning of the first modern international monetary system or yung tinatawag natin, again, the gold standard. Okay, as we have learned in our previous discussions, ang isa sa reasons kung bakit later on magiging mercantilist, magiging capitalist ang Europe and consequently will become the most global dominant region in the world is because of the exploration, okay, and the industrial period later on. Okay, so uh, ayan. And with this, we will have, of course, the discovery of the Americas wherein it is rich in gold. Okay? And the rise of the British Empire, especially British Empire. Okay? The Great Britain Empire or the UK, wherein itong UK na to will be the first one, the first country to adopt the gold monometallism system. Again, sabi natin noon, UK, okay, at some point controlled almost one-fourth of the entire land area of the earth. Ayan, because of their, not because uh, of the British crown per se, but because of the East India Company. Ayan, so essentially what I'm trying to say, they become so powerful. So it's obvious that they will be the first one to start this so-called gold standard or the gold monometallism system. Anat kahit nasawan di siya gold monometallism system. Ilang kahit nasawan deta, isudat ti mangyo na nga mangibaga nga ti gold ket isut agbalin nga basis iti amin nga trade transactions all over the world. Again, the East India Company isuda ti almost everything nga trade flows iti global economy dun una na nga panahon ket kontrolado na. Ayan, iso nga nagdakkel jay impluwensyada ditoy nga isuda ti nangirugi, isuda ti nang baon okay, ti lobo nga dapat nagkaroon ti monometallism system. Okay, nga again, ti basis dapat iti currency flow, trade flow, and other economic activities, especially di kwarta, di transaction, ket nakabase, di reservation or value ti gold nga adda kanyada. Okay, so in other words, the gold standard standardize the use of the value of gold in all international transactions. Ayan, so to continue, again, UK adopted this called gold monometallism in 1821. Okay, so half a century later, in 1867, okay, most of the European nations as well as the United Nations will become part, okay, of this gold standard system. It's because of the International Monetary Conference that was held in Paris. Okay? So bakit gold? Bakit madaming countries ang sumunod sa yapak ng UK? Kasi gold was believed to guarantee a non-inflationary, stable economic environment. So it's a means for accelerating international trade. Okay? Dahil nga hindi siya posibleng magamit for inflation, okay, as explained in the video, kapag limited nga ron ti goals, syempre, han mo maswitik, DJ ka ano ti goals mo. Kasi narigat nga i-manufacture ti goals. So, mo maswitik talagang ma-ensure nga ada system. Memes nga system nga surusurutan ti amin nga members kadeta nga global economy. Therefore, accelerating international trade. Okay, so later on, because of Prussia's victory over France, okay, or Germany, okay, so Germany will later join also with France, okay, and then again US, as I was trying to say a while back, US in 1879, so sunod din dyan yung Italy in 1984, okay, you also have Russia in 1897. So basically what I'm trying to say, roughly 70% of the nations participated in the gold standard just before the outbreak of World War One. Okay, so again, I want to emphasize, ano nga ba ang tinatawag nating gold standard? So in practice, the gold standard function as a fixed exchange rate regime, okay, with gold as the only international reserve. Okay, so participating countries determined the gold content of national currencies, which in turn define fixed exchange rates or mint parities as well. Okay, so consequently, common adherence to gold convertibility link the world together through a fixed exchange rate. Okay, so monetary authorities were obliged to exchange their national currencies for gold at the official exchange rate, okay, without limits on international markets. Okay, again, tilalakit na sa wondeta, DJ value ti currency ti kada countries naka-base no mano ti reserbada iti gold. Okay? So, kung nakaragdag tayo, kadeta illustration tayo dyan mo na, no mano mismo ti nakadulin nga golds, kadeta nga bangko, okay, kadeta nga bansa, kadjay ti value na mismo, iti paper money da, when no currency da. Ayan. Okay, so ano tigidjay strengths na dito gold standard system? Okay. One of the main strengths of this system was the tendency for the trade balance to be in equilibrium. Okay? Meaning equal, again, fikso na. Iso mo mabalin nga switigen. Okay? Mo mabalin nga lamangan ti sa bali. Okay, balanced positions were ensured by the automatic price specie flow mechanism. Okay, which assume a passive change in money supply and a full flexibility in internal prices. Okay, again, tilakit na sa 1 DJ, uh, Gapu nga rod na nakadepende iti value di currency kadi sa idoldolin da or di mismo bilang ti gold nga adda kanyada talaga nga ma-determine mo DJ pinagngато wenno pinagbaba ti currency da and consequently pinagbaba ken pinagngато kadigijay goods da, kadigijay trades da, and all of their economic activities. Okay, so in other words, predictable. Okay, and again, as natin adult ini ko, ano predictable? Okay, equilibrium. Okay, kapag na susurutan nga sistema, ada equilibrium. Okay, awanti, biglaan nga inflation. Okay, ayan. So, that is the gold standard. Okay? However, alam natin, hindi ito forever. Okay? So, two of the most common limitations ng gold standard, of course, you have the gold supply issues. Okay, sabi nga natin, ang gold is, despite its promise of non-inflation, okay? At the same time, since gold is limited, and since money supply was tied to gold availability, economists face difficulties if gold reserves were insufficient. Okay? So, awan may bus ti gold mo, kaputa limited nga rod ti gold, ken nasawon, awan tumatan iti value na di currency mo, awan tumatan ti money supply mo. So, delikado di siya eh. Okay? So, at the same time, it's very restricted monetary policy. Okay, as connected with number one, kapo ka di very principle nga haansu ng prone for inflation. Okay, governments could not print additional money during economic crisis. Hangka basta ag-print ti kwarta, hangka basta ag-reproduce iti currency, money supply mo, gapu nga rod na naka-base laing suna, iti gold reserve mo, numano mismo di actual nga bilang ti gold mo. And uh, although good yun, okay? That is the very principle nga of gold standard. However, let's remember that there was what we call the Great War or the World War One. Okay, so there were a lot of economic crises. Countries needed more money supply. However, they cannot do that because they are restricted by the gold standard. And because of this, there were deflation, later on deflation, and economic stagnation. Okay, to emphasize, okay, so essentially what I'm trying to say, the outbreak of the World War One brought an end to the classical gold standard. Okay, so participating nations have to give up. Okay, they gave up their convertibility and abandon gold export in order to stop the depletion of their national gold reserves. Okay, so yun nga, sabi ko, dahil connected siya sa gold, malamang kung yung monetary value mo ay connected sa gold, kung wala ka ng gold, edi wala ng value yung money mo. Okay, so ayan, later on that will happen with the Japanese yen. Okay, okay, babalikan natin yan. But to continue, the overvalued pound sterling and the emergence of rivals like the US and the France will eventually reduce, okay, the competitiveness or yung value ng UK. Okay, so again, after the uh, or during the World War One, okay, because they have a lot of deficit, okay, they can no longer rely on the gold standard. Okay, they wanted to produce more money like other European countries. They wanted to produce money, but they were restricted. Okay, so ayan, balikan natin yung sinasabi ko with the Japanese yen. Okay, so as we all know, Japanese yen, 150, okay, of Japanese yen is equivalent to 1 US dollar. Okay, so titignan natin mas mababa pa kaysa sa 55 pesos, 55 Philippine pesos to 1 US dollar, 'di ba? So bakit ganun kababa yung pera ng Japanese o yung Japanese yen nila? Okay, kasi ito nga yung nangyari. They were too reliant on the gold standard. Okay? Kasi what they did is they over participated in the global trade. So release sila ng release ng pera. Dahil release sila ng release ng pera, nababawasan din yung gold nila that eventually super mababa na yung uh, reserve nila with gold, and therefore consequently it affected the value of their money. Ayan. So kaya until now mababa yung Japanese yen. Okay? So that is your the gold standard. So essentially, in short, despite its promises of non inflationability, okay, despite of its predictability, it's however, it had its limitations. So, um, later on, it will be entirely abandoned, starting with the UK and followed soon by the rest of the world. Okay, and this will pave the way for the Bretton Woods system. Okay, so again, the gold standard will fail. And because of the many negative political and economic implications brought upon by the end of the World War One, the Allied nations, or obviously the winners of the war, will start negotiations about a new international monetary system. Okay, this was uh, started through the United Nations Monetary and Financial Conference. So after ma-create or almost the same time nung ma-create natin yung United Nations. Okay, so this conference was conducted in Bretton Woods in New Hampshire. Okay, so that is in the USA, okay, in July 1944. So there were 44 countries who were delegates, okay, led by the USA and the UK, of course. Okay, so these two countries were the most uh, beneficiaries of the gold standard system. Okay, balikan natin sa gold standard. Uh, the more that you participate in the global market, the more that you release your money, the more that you are depleting your gold reserves. Eventually, many countries will lose their gold reserve. And meanwhile, USA and UK were able to accumulate many gold reserves. But most importantly, USA, okay, because they are the only convertible currency at that time, meaning they are the only sufficient country. I mean, they are the only country with sufficient reserves of gold at that time. Okay, so they were the US dollar was the only convertible currency. Sabi ko nga, the United States, okay, committed itself to sell and purchase gold without restrictions, okay, at 35 US dollars per ounce of gold. Okay, so all other currencies were fixed to the US dollar. Okay, so sa madaling salita, ah yung gold sorry, yung US dollar nakapeg yan or nakabase yan sa gold, okay? The rest of the countries naman nakabase or nakapeg sa US dollar. Okay, so later on, okay, we will know, spoiler, this will end in 1971. Okay, but we will discuss that later on. But another important lessons from the Bretton Woods system that we have to remember is the establishment of two international institutions. It's your uh, international banks for construction and development and the International Monetary Fund. Okay, so the IBRD, okay, became responsible for post-war reconstruction. Okay, while the explicit mandate was given to the IMF. Okay, so again, these two financial institutions, these two international institutions, we will discuss this in a separate lesson. However, to give you a background, okay, IMF basically for the purpose of maintaining this newly established Bretton Woods or the gold exchange standard, okay, ang ginagawa ng IMF is magpapautang sila or magbibigay sila ng financial assistance to create a temporary balance. Okay, tapno mabalanse di sa ekonomiyas especially kadig sa countries nga talagang ada depletion, talagang imbalance the economy na because of yun nga yung World War I. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, we have already mentioned this in the previous slide, so let's proceed. Okay, so the Bretton Woods Agreement, okay, will run into challenges in the early 1970s. Okay, but before that, okay, during the first few years of the new system, the country managed to maintain a surplus in its balance of payment, sorry. So, basically, okay pa. Okay, marami pa silang stock or pondo ng gold reserves. Okay? However, as soon as Europe regain its pre-World War II economic power, meaning nakabangon nila na sila mula sa World War II, okay? The external position of the United States turned into a persistent deficit. Okay, and obviously this is a natural consequence of becoming an international reserve currency. Okay, ganito yan. Ah, sabi nga natin, yung mga currencies naka-base sa US dollar. At ang US dollar naman naka-base sa gold. Okay, so what happened is after the World War II, okay, 1970s nakabangon na yan yung mga Europeans. So umaangat na sila. Okay, habang umaangat sila, nagre-release sila ng mga pera in the world system. Okay, so essentially they are raising the value of their currency. Now because it's pegged with the US dollar consequently must also raise its currency. Okay, dagdagan yung i-release na pera. Okay? So, habang dadagdagan nila yung i-release nilang pera, dadagdagan din nila yung i-release nilang gold. Okay? However, nag-continue to. Tumaas ng tumaas yung value, yung currency na ni-release ng mga European nations na ito, that eventually USA will not cope up. Okay? So, ayan. Because of that, uh, essentially, USA will be depleted from its US gold reserves. Magkakaroon sila ng deficits. Okay? Pangpangato the other currencies at pangpangato ni USA. By doing that, kurangan di reserva dati gold. Ayan. So what will happen is, because of this destabilizing speculations, again, because of the primarily because of the huge balance of payments and trade deficit of USA, and of course of inflations, the United States, through President Nixon, the president at that time, was forced to abandon this gold exchange or Bretton Woods system, okay, on August 15, 1971. And because of this one, we will create several systems. But okay, sa madaling salita, walang masyadong comprehensive or walang masyadong as clear as the Bretton Woods system. Okay, so we will discuss them in the succeeding slides. Okay, so after the fall of the Bretton Woods system, okay, uh, some countries, some industrialized countries were keen to return to some kind of a controlled exchange rate. Okay, so ito yung tinawag nilang Smithsonian Agreement. So parang de facto dollar standard siya. Okay, however, hindi pa rin niya nagawang solusyonan yung devaluation or yung pagbaba ng US currency. Okay? So, essentially, wala pa ring stabilized na world finances at that time. So, in the early 1973, itong mga industrialized countries na ito decided to float their currencies, okay, and intervene in financial markets only in case of drastic short-term fluctuation. So, ano ginawa nila? So, longer-term prices of currencies were determined, okay, based on demand and supply forces exclusively. Okay, so hindi na nakapeg sa US dollar but rather naka-float in the sense that palagi siyang nagbabago, hindi na siya fixed. Palagi siyang nagbabago depending on the demand and supply forces. So, mas komplikado na ito. Okay, this shift in exchange rate policy was later formalized or acknowledged by the Jamaica Accords, okay, or agreement in 1976. Ayan, so again, however, this managed floating did not perform any better. Okay. In fact, okay, what happened is that advanced countries had to interfere in a few occasions in order to avoid calamity. So, imbes na magkaroon tayo ng system, what happened is mas lalong naging pakialamero, if I can say that word, itong mga advanced countries. Okay, again, kinailangan yun kasi nga to avoid yung mga impending economic crisis because of this not so stable system. Okay, so also in 1985, itong mga G7 countries na ito. So what are the G7 countries nga pala? Okay, so you have of course USA, okay, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the UK, okay, collectively called the G7 countries, agreed on a substantial devaluation of the US dollar under the Plaza Agreement. So later on, ito yung magiging basis for the Lova Accord in 1987, okay, to defend the dollar from further devaluation. So, essentially, ang purpose lang nito, yung G7 in 1985, yung plus agreement, at itong Lova Accord in 1987, ang purpose lang niyan, ayusin or isalba yung US dollar. Okay, so, of course, US benefited from this, but one of the losers. I mean, the most, the biggest loser of this two agreements or accords was the Japanese economy. Okay, again, alam natin, sila yung loser ng World War II. So, obviously, alam na natin ito. Okay, so nagkaroon ng dollar politics. Okay, so bumagsak yung Japanese economy kaya nga yung Japanese yen na yan until now napakababa. Okay, so actually it's 150 yen for $1. Mas bababa pa sa peso, diba? So, okay. So that is your floating exchange rate system. The Plaza Agreement in 1985 and the Lova Accord in 1987. Okay, so in the 1990s, we saw a different situation kasi we saw the triumph of the neoliberal pro-market Washington Consensus. Okay, again, neoliberal, this means privatization, okay, or opening your national economy with the rest of the world. Okay, so privatization, wag mong pakialaman yung mga economy mo, okay, essentially. Okay, again, we will discuss that more in the next lesson. Okay, but eventually, ibig sabihin niyan, bubuksan mo yung iyong economy with the rest of the world. Ang magkocontrol niyan, hindi yung national government, but private companies run by other countries. Okay, so ginawa tong condition or requirement in exchange for financial assistance under the IMF. Okay, so several countries, especially yung mga emerging markets, yung mga and periphery nations, okay? Yung emerging markets at this time was Mexico, Brazil, okay, or the East Asian tigers. Okay, so in East Asia, what they did is, syempre, kumagat sila sa condition na ito. 'Di ba? Obviously, sino namang country ang ayaw yumaman? Sinong country ang ayaw ng financial assistance? So, what they did, Mexico, Brazil, okay, they regulated, sorry, their financial sectors and fully liberalized capital transactions from the late 1980s onwards. Okay? However, it created a big problem. Okay, ano tong problema na ito? Again, sabi ko nga kanina, okay, ang basically, essentially, when we say neoliberalism, lukatam sa ekonomiya ti the rest of the world. So, mang-influence kanyam ket adu nga countries. So, amo tayo, digito nga countries ada bukod da nga interest. Okay? Ada bukod da nga political and national interest. So, kailangan nga nulukatam ti ah, bansam iti world economy, kailangan nga at the same time strengthen DJ ang local economy. Okay? And this was the problem with Mexico and Brazil. Okay? Because these reforms were not supplemented by a strengthened domestic supervision or monitoring. It will eventually fail. Okay? It will eventually create a lot of loss. Okay? And essentially, consequently, it will result to inflations and financial crisis. Okay, that will first hit Mexico in 1994 and reach East Asia in 1997 and 1998. Okay? Tapno maawatan nyo dito, damagin nyo to kadigitay parents yo. At the idikot ti chismis or conspiracy idi ko nga kunkunada nga ag-end kanon ti lubong in 1999 or tud pumatak ti 2000. Okay? Kasi nga takkel talaga ti financial crisis at that time. Siguro dito pa ti rasonon na pinangabak ni President Erap. Diba titaglay na idi ko era para sa mahirap. Okay? So, essentially, ticket ko i-emphasize lang dito is that itong IMF na ito, despite its arguably positive intention to provide financial assistance, isang malaking kalokohan yung kanyang condition. Okay, so again, uulitin ko, ang purpose nito, ah ni IMF, tilang inobra na is to give financial assistance, which it shouldn't be. Kay kailangan na i-guide the countries nga naglukat it nga nagbalin nga neoliberal tapno ma-ensure nga han na mabaybayan DJ local economy na tapno haan nga ma-disrupt iti um, price competitiveness kada DJ markets kadeta nga bansa. Okay? So, para maintindihan natin ka-studenta. Okay? So, no ada tao, tapos papautangam lang ta, papautangam, okay? Yung DJ nga tao, so saan naman kayo magsugal, nagkastador suna, okay? Awan papanan na. Okay, awan serbi na di papautang mo. Ti right nga og pumayam ka deta, okay? Nagpautang ka, tapos sursurwam suna, no? Asa no agbalin nga wais ka DJ nga kwartana, asa no suna ag budget, asa no suna ag save, asa no suna nga haan nga agbalin nga gastador. Kasi no papautang na tang, papautang magkanayon, nagbalin suna nga dependent kanya. 'Di ba? Haan nga bumaknang suna. Lalo pa yung agree at suna. Okay, so parang ganun ang ginawa ng IMF. Okay, by providing financial assistance, the main criticism of IMF is that it made these countries more dependent from them. Okay, remember, itong mga kumagat sa condition na ito ay yung mga periphery nations kasi nga gusto nilang yumaman eh. Gusto nila ng financial assistance for them to improve from the status of periphery. Okay, however, ito yung negative consequences. Okay? Na overpower masyado yung kanilang national economy. Their local economy were severely disrupted because itong yung pagbukas nila, yung neoliberalism approach nila, yung privatization nila, masyadong madaming selfish or capitalist interest, that it literally or it substantially deprive in the local economy, okay, the national economy from recovering or tapno mabalanse na lang digit utang da. Okay, so ayan, that is the criticism of the Washington Consensus and the IMF and generally all the financial institutions. Again, we will discuss that in the next lesson. So what I'm trying to establish to end this lesson is that despite the introduction of Washington Consensus in the 1980s and early 1990s, there had been no new formal system, okay, since the Bretton Woods. Wala tayong as comprehensive and as specific as the Bretton Woods, okay? But generally, most countries follows the floating exchange rates. Okay, so we will try to explain that more in a face-to-face setting. Okay, kasi masyadong complicated ito. Okay, so let's end here. Okay, so ayan.